How to use Nano Banana Pro to realistically recreate very photorealistic images from video games, settings. We're going to be talking about that in today's video. So if you want to be able to convert, say, a screenshot like this to an animation like this, or even a screenshot like this, which isn't very good in terms of quality and depth of field, and use Nano Banana Pro to actually recreate this with a realistic look to it, just like this right here that I'm showing you. We're going to go through that in today's video. So I want to show you guys a full Nano Banana tutorial, how you can use it. It's actually a lot simpler than what people think, but it does actually take some work to try and get to these desired outcomes that we'll speak about in today's video. So if you enjoy animation, you enjoy Nano Banana, like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of animation, a lot of AI right here on this channel. So this is John with Frostfire Studios. Welcome back to the channel. And let's get straight into this one. So one of my favorite games, Zelda Ocarina of Time. I really wanted to bring this to life and do it in a way that was true to the scale of the game in terms of architecture, layout, and do it relatively quickly. So try not to spend too much time on this and try and get a good end result that I'm going to be happy with without, spending days and ages just doing this. So I want to run you through this right now. So the first thing, of course, if you want to do anything like this, is you will need to have some references to work with. So I just grabbed, 5 different screenshots from different locations that were, pretty prominent within the game. And again, this works for pretty much any game out there. So just because we're using Zelda Ocarina of Time today, that doesn't mean it's restricted at all in terms of what you can build, what you can make. You can do pretty much any game if you follow these principles. But first thing you're going to need, get some screenshots of your favorite game. So what do you want to recreate? What's your favorite game? Have fun doing this as well, because everyone is learning AI, learning these tools. You may as well have a lot of fun while you do it at the same time. So grab some screenshots, because this is going to be important, right? Now, once you have your screenshots, you want to run I call it like a meta prompt, if that is the right technical term, within Google Gemini to give me the DNA of the setting. So an overall feel, an overall vibe that's going to help illustrate this. So for example, right here, I've got a prompt that I work to refine, and this can actually work for a lot of universal different games out there. So this is the prompt we're doing. It's like a meta prompt. And so all I'm doing is inputting the game name. And this prompt is smart enough basically to give me like the top 15 locations and give me the the data we're going to need to recreate these scenes relatively accurately. But I'll show you still need to put work into it. So there's no prompt yet that will just give you the bulletproof final outcome that you wish would be that simple, but it's not really that simple, as you're going to find out in this video. So we use this prompt right here to create a scenery of scenery DNA pretty much effectively, right? And what you're going to find is once you start to put these in, it will start to generate relatively some pretty decent first impressions, right? So I've actually was experimenting with a couple of scenes, but just to show you, for example, I used it here for Hyrule Field. And what you can see is the first thing, it is kind of good, but it's not what we're after though. So you have to continue to work with this. And you can see right here what it's coming up with. And as we progress, it is important that you do attach the actual screenshot to it. So you can see right here, we have referenced that original image, and then we're also referencing the in-game video screenshot right here, and we're asking it to kind of tie it together more neatly, so to space out the references and more accurately geographically fits. You can see up the top here, update this image so it roughly geographically fits the actual Nintendo 64 game scene as attached. Ensure the same tone and physical features as the game. Keep ultra realistic image quality. And right there, we were actually quite fortunate with this scene, because this was actually a very good match to begin with, and we actually went with that one right there. So you can see what happens to some degree when you start to generate some of these images is you will get lots of variation, right? There is plenty of variation. Make sure you have enough credits. I'm using Higgs Field at the moment, but this is going to work with any type of access to Nano Banana. What interface or aggregator, it doesn't really matter. It's just the principles will remain the same. So we went with that one on that image, and we'll get to the animation a bit later, and you can see it kind of ran through the same process with all the other images as well. This one was actually a very good first run. That one I was very impressed with. Again, not perfect, but it was getting close, and you can see right here, just the wall at the end wasn't like in sync with what we wanted. So if you see right here, the wall drops off, and I actually want to keep that realism in the game. So just exactly kind of how it is. That's kind of like the scene I actually want. That's the way I like to do it. But again, as a creative director, and think of yourself as a creative director as you make these, you can choose whatever kind of style you want. So remember, there is no right way to theoretically create these, because it's up to everyone is going to be their own little artistic director. And I say just do what makes you happy. And but you can see right here, I wanted to modify that. So I basically worked with Nano Banana to really just knuckle down continuously, and actually ran into some problems here as I was trying to do this. And you can just see just how much of a challenge sometimes it can be to get it right. So this time he got really confused. It actually went the wrong way. And but in the end, this was the one that we ended up going with. And I thought that was a good, realistic translation of what I was after. So you can see right here, and we'll get to the animation stage soon, of what it looks like in real life basically. And that is very, very nice right here. So to run you through those sequences again, what we're doing, we got the meta prompt that's going to give us some visual DNA. Then we're going to work with that to create a scene, and then we're going to continue to reference it. And then we really want to get through to Nano Banana, that you need to make it geometrically and geographically, in scale with placement, because a lot of the time, Nano Banana will just start to make stuff up, and that's what it's supposed to do. So it's not like it's doing anything wrong, but what you're going to find out, it's just not really, hitting the mark, and you can run into some funny things as I was experimenting with some different prompts right there. You can see right here, this one came out pretty good to begin with, right? It was good. It's not perfect though, but at least we have something to work with. So this was our lake, Hyrule, where is it? So this one right here, that was a screenshot from the game. This is the end product, but you can see right out of the gates, using that visual DNA, we're getting pretty good right here with the actual, straight out of the gates, that's a pretty good one I thought, because it picked up some key elements that I was after. The tree, this platform over here, and also this doorway to the fishing hole. But it also picked this up pretty good as well. These pillars in the water. And then as we kind of refine it, again, you have to kind of work through it, to get exactly what you're after. I got some really nice prompts rectification. So again, I asked Nano Banana to come back, please update the image as follows, and just going back to the referencing as well. So I'm re-referencing the video game screenshot, telling it to update it accordingly. And you can see right here, this is a very nice, near pretty much final screenshot. So right there is the one we ended up going with right here. But it gave me some really other nice ones to pick from. And any of these, in my opinion, were looking pretty good. So this is all pretty good stuff. So I was very happy with that. And same deal with the castle as well. So the castle came out of the gate relatively good, but again, it wasn't perfect. So it was good, but it wasn't perfect. And he kind of reverted in some of the follow-up prompts to make it too game-like right here. So he kind of went to extreme. Looks a little bit like Mario 64 right there, that castle. But we ended up, through that rectification process of continuing to prompt Nano Banana, we ended up getting, where is the one? Something, this was the end one right here. So it was relatively accurate, not 100% accurate, but it was good enough for me to use and then to go through with the actual animation process. So once you have these, then it's time to animate it. It's time to bring it to life. So again, I'm using Higgs Field, but you can use any type of interface. It could be open art. It could be anything really. Actually, I forgot. I also have the Lost Woods and Lost Wood. No, I also have Kokiri Forest, which turned out really great as well. So you can see some of the final outcomes for Kokiri Forest, which I think were fantastic. So you can see how much in this one it brings it to life. I did allow it to have a bit more creativity in the end result, so we weren't as rigid as, say, the other ones. But again, look how good the quality is in the end. So really, really nice. Even though this one probably looks a little bit more, CGI to some degree, it's still pretty good. So I was very happy with all those 5 outcomes. And then, we run through this process of animating it, and you can see you can animate it in lots of different engines. And the thing about animations currently with AI is even if you put in the same prompt into different engines, you get totally different results, and sometimes they are completely unusable. So this is the bit where you need to have your spare credits. And the other thing to understand at the moment, look, if you're going into Google VO 3.1, it is expensive, right? So if you go to Google VO 3.1, you want like a 10-second clip or whatever it is you can do right here, this will be expensive. So this is not cheap to run. So just be cognizant of that if you are going into this. I was using 3.1 fast. I was also using some of the other free engines that I have access to. So with Lon Lon Ranch, Google VO came out of the blocks very strong. The one issue that it didn't seem to abide by was keeping the camera static, whereas the other ones did. But I just let it go for that clip. I said that's fine. I'm just going to move on because I didn't want to waste any more credits. But you need to fix for the other engines that seem to lock it in place right here. But the issue they had is they decided to do a time lapse. I didn't really ask for a time lapse, but that can sometimes happen. I think it might have been triggered by me saying clouds gently move in the sky, which, just FYI, if you do that, maybe it's trying to fast forward it to actually get that animation going. So next time I would actually remove that. And you can see some of these animations are just totally goofy as well. So this is Kling 2.6. I asked for a fish jumps out of the water. I mean, boy, did I get a big fish jumping out of the water, maybe too powerful. But you'd have to rerun that and maybe just tone down the actual prompting here to say just gently breaks the water or something like that to get a more accurate one. Google 3.1 fast generally does a pretty good job. So not bad, even though, again, we have this time-lapse issue, and maybe the fish was too aggressive and it just went past it. It went a little bit fast for Google 3.1. And again, we are running into more time-lapse issues. I think it's, again, triggered by the clouds, so you don't want to be using that. But you can get a nice time-lapse effect if you wanted that. And you can see right here, when we remove the clouds to some degree and specify that it is not a time-lapse video, it does slow down, but it's still sped up to some degree for some reason, the actual video image right here with Google 3.1 fast. We ended up using that one in the final one. And this one was very nice though. So Kling 2.6, once you remove that kind of cloud animation, it just comes out pretty decent, relatively still, with a little bit of flicker on the water. And you can see right here, we have specified that it's not a time-lapse video. And this was Google 3.1. So right out of the gate, this was a really good one. I really like that one. The other one's just not as good. So this one is coming out of Kling 2.5 Turbo. Again, this is the exact same prompt going into it. So static tripod camera, no moving, peaceful scene, birds fly across the sky. And that one, again, just didn't really cut it. You can see the difference in quality between, say, Google 3.1, Kling 2.5 Turbo, just not really doing us any good work right there. And Kling 2.6 was okay. And you can see the difference right here. So a little bit more of a softer animation, not bad at all, but just different, okay? So they're always coming out a little bit different. And you can see right here as we went to go animate Kokiri Forest, even though we did request a static tripod camera fixed, we are still getting moving camera work right here with those two. The only one that didn't actually get triggered with the camera was Minimax 2.3 fast. And this is why sometimes I run multiple animations just to speed it up, because we don't want to be sitting here all day just trying to get the perfect scene. So I tend to run a couple at a time, different engines, and you can see right here just the differences in style. And some of these are great for movies. You can just see the quality of what you can bring to life running this process through Nano Pro. So again, my goal in this was to use Nano Banana to really bring these to life, but also stay true to the geometry, the architecture, the actual scenery of these places and, you know, make it realistic. And I think we've done a pretty good job. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. And this just shows you, you know, the possibility of where you can go. So, you know, you learn this, you become good at this, you can really open up so many possibilities. And that's the great thing about AI right now. So if you want to learn more and you got benefit out of this, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are doing lots of animations currently, and AI, cinematics, improving productivity, business, all that stuff with AI. That's what we're talking about right here. So appreciate you watching this. Hope you got value out of it. Enjoy your time creating AI videos, and I'll see you in the next one.